All right, Shalom, Shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak, here of Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Numbers chapter 19, going to the Hebrew. So Lord willing, you're edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Let's get right into it, right? Numbers chapter 19, verse 1, right? And it reads, Wayadabar Yahweh al Mashah wa al Aran la Amar, meaning that he spoke the Lord unto Moses and unto Aaron to say, Za'ath Hakwath Ha Thawara. This is a statute, the law, which had commanded the Lord, Ashar Tazawa Yahweh, to say, La Amar Dabar al Banaya Yasha'ala, speak unto the children of Israel, and that they take, or Slakia, and they will take unto thee Wayakwahwa al Yaka, a heifer, Parah, which is a female bull, right? Adama, red, perfect, Tamayama, which has none upon it, blemish, Ashar, Ayan, Baha, Mawam, Ashar, La'a, Ilah, Eliah, Al, which there has not been upon it upon her a yoke, right? One a thumb, and you will place it, you, or Salakia, and you will give it you to Eliezer, Eliezer, the priest, Ha Kahan, Waha Taziya'a Atha, and he will bring out to it, to the outside of the camp, Al Mahawataza La Machana, Washachat Atha La Panyawa, and will slaughter to it before them. Verse 4, Walakwach Eliezer, and will take Eliezer the priest, Hakahan, of its blood, Madama, upon his finger, Ba Atazabaiwa, and will sprinkle Wahaza to it in the front, Al Nakach, because that word Nakach means at the forefront, right? Before the tent of assemblage, right? So it says, and he will sprinkle to the forefront before the tent of assemblage, Panaya Achal Mawa'id, of its blood 7 times, Madama Shabai Payamyam, Washarap Atha Hapara, and will burn to the heifer before their eyes, La Ayan Yawa Atha Ira, to its skin, Wa Atha Bashara, to its flesh, Wa Atha Dama, and to its blood, Al Parasha, upon being spread out, Yasharap, he will burn it, right? So it says, and he will burn to the heifer before their eyes, to its skin, to its flesh, and to its blood, upon everything that is spread out, right? Meaning everything included, right? he will burn, right? Walakwach HaKahan, Itaza araz, and will take the priest, cedar wood, or wood of cedar, Wa Azab, and hyssop, Wa Shanaya Thalitha, or Thaliath, and crimson, Waha Shalayak, and he will throw it to the midst of the fire, Al Thawak Sharapath, the heifer Haparah, right? Wa Kabas Bagad Yewa, and will wash his garments, the priest HaKahan, Wa Rachatazah Basharwa, and will wash his flesh in water, Bamayim, and afterwards, Wa Achar, he will enter to the camp, Yaba'a al Hamachana, Wa Tamah, and will be unclean, the priest HaKahan, until the evening, Ad HaIrab, Waha Sharap Atha, right? And he that burns to it, he will wash his garments, Yakabas, Bagad Yawa, in water, Bamayim, Ora Chatazah, and will wash his flesh, Basharwa, in water, Bamayim, and will be unclean until the evening, Wa Tamah Ad HaIrab, Wa Asap Ayash Tahar, and will gather a man that is clean to the ashes of the heifer, Atha Apar HaParah, because that word Apar means ashes, Ipar means dust, right? Wa Chanayach Mahawatazah, and will cause it to rest outside of the camp, La Machana, in a place clean, Ba Maquam Tahar. Wahayatha La Idath, and it will be for the company of the sons of Israel, Benaiah Yasha'ala, La Mashamarath, for the duty, right? Or for the use, right? For water of separation, Lamaya Nadach, for purifying of sin, Chata'ath, that is Hawa, Wakabas Ha'asap, and will wash he that gathered to the ashes, Atha Apar, of the heifer, Haparah, to his garments, Atha Bagad Yawa, right? And himself as well, right? Which it doesn't say that, but that is part of the procedure. Watama Ad HaIrab, will be unclean until the evening. Wahayatha Labanaya Yasha'ala, and will be for the sons of Israel. Walagar Hagar, for the sojourner, he that sojourns in your midst. Batha Wakam, for a statue forever. Lahakwath Iwalam. Ha-Nagai Bamath, he that touches upon the dead, Lakal Napash, to all soul of man, Adam, Watama Shabayath Yamayim, and will be unclean 7 days. Hawa Yatachata Bawa, he will purify himself from sin upon it. In the day the third, by Yawam Ha Shalai Yeshaya, Wabayawam ha-shabaya'ayah, and in the day the seventh he will be clean, Yatahar. Wa'im la'a yatha chata'ah, and if he does not purify himself, and if he does not purify himself from sin, by Yawam ha-shalayashaya, in the day the third, wa by Yawam ha-shabaya'ayah, and in the day the seventh, he will not be clean, la'a yatahar. Call ha-nagai bamath, all that toucheth upon the dead, upon the soul of man, ba napash ha-adam, which he dies, ashar yamawath, and will not purify himself from sin, or salakia. Oh yeah, actually that's what that means. And does not purify himself from sin, wala'a yatha chata'ah, atah ha-mashakan, to the tabernacle of the Lord Yahweh, he has defiled, tama'ah, and will be cut off that soul that is from Israel. Wa nakaratha ha-napash ha-hawa ma yasha'ala. Kaya maya nadach, because the water of separation, la'a zarak, was not scattered upon him. Because the word zarak means, right, to scatter. Allah Yahweh, Tama'a Yahayu, unclean he will be, Iwad, Tama'athwa, even his uncleanliness is upon him, Bawa. Za'ath Hathawara, this is the law, when a man, Adam, Kaya Yamawath, because he dies in a tent, Ba'ahol, Kal Haba'ah, all that enter to the tent, Al Ha'achal, and all which are in the tent, Wakal Ashar Ba'achal, they will be unclean 7 days, Yatama'ah Shabaitha Yamayim. Wakal Kalaya Pathach, and all instruments, right, open, Ashar Ayan Tazamayad, which there is none covering, with a cord, Pathayal, upon it, Alayawa, unclean, it will be unclean, Tazama Hawa, that is, right? Let's go into that word, Tazamayad, right? Which means a band, right? So literally it will read, in all instruments that are open, which there is none, a band with a cord upon it, it will unclean, it will be, that is, right? Because this is essentially what it's saying, or what it looks like. Get that real quick. So here's a vessel, right? And it would have a band upon it, right? Which you would have a cloth, right? And when it says Tazamayad, it means something placed around it, right? Which would be a cord, right? So it's not two things, it's one thing, right? But it's just describing how that vessel should be kept, right? So let's see. Let's get that word. That word is tazamad, which could be translated as bracelet or band, right? Or something wrapped around an item, right? Tazamad, the Arabic says taza amad, Syriac tazamad, to bind, to fasten, right? To be fastened, to bind, to join. Let's look at the see what else we can get. Which that was a root. Tazamayad, meaning a bracelet or a band, which is the same thing. Right? Cover a vessel. Bracelet or arm clasp, generally a lid. Right? Let's see, we can get that precept from Numbers. Or Salakia, I gotta click on the root. Tazamad. Let's get that. Numbers 25:3, right? Salakia. Numbers 25:3, and Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, right? Which it would read roughly as Wayatazamad, and they banded themselves, right? As in, they gathered themselves, right? Israel Yasha'ala to Baal, La Baal, Paiwar, right? Wayachar, and wax hot the anger up of the Lord Yahweh upon Israel by Yasha'ala, right? And that word pathal, again, it just means a ribbon or a cord, right? Wakal Ashar Yagai, and all which they touch. Al Panaya, upon the side of the field, or upon before the field. Really, it would say upon before the face of the field, right? Upon the slain, Bachalal. Harab, right? Which meaning they were slain by the sword. Awab Bamath, or upon the dead. Awa Ba Itazam, or upon the bone, as in the bone of man, right? Which is why it says Adam, Awa, or upon a burial, Ba Kobar, Ya Tama'a, they will be unclean 7 days. Shabbaitha Yamayim, right? Let's go into that word Itazim, because that word Itazim means to be mighty, right? Which is why the root means bone, right? Because when you strong boned, right, that denotes strength, right? That makes you strong, right? But in certain instances, for example, it says in the scripture, certain scriptures, it will say, "Ba itazim yawam." It would mean in that same day, or in that same day, right? Let's look at that word. Salakia. Let's get that real quick. Strong's H6106, which says itazim, a bone, right? Bodily, denoting bodily ableness, right? As in, right, might. Let's see. Substance, self, just means bone, right? Verse 17. Walakwahwa la tama'a, and will take for the defiled ma'ipar of the dust of the burning, right? Sharapath, meaning the ashes of the heifer. Ha chata'ath, right? To purge, for purging of sin. Wanathan Eliyawa, and will place upon it the water, Mayim, Chayayam, living, right? Or fresh, right? Because that word Chaya means denoting life, but it also means something fresh or raw, right? But here it's saying Mayam, Chayayam, meaning living waters, as in running waters, fresh water. But you can just say running water, right? So it says, Wanathan Layawa, Mayam, Chachayim, and will place upon it water running into the vessel, right? Or fresh water, doesn't matter. Al Kalaya. Walakwach Azab, and will take hyssop, wa tabal, and dip it upon the water, Bamayim, a man that is clean, Ayash Tahar, wa Hazah, and he will sprinkle it upon the tent, Al Ha'achal, right? Because that word wa means and, ha meaning he, za means to sprinkle, right? Upon the tent, wa'al kal hakalayim, and upon all the vessels, wa'al ha napashwath, and upon all the souls which were there, ashar hayawa sham, wa'al ha nagai, and upon he that toucheth upon the bone, ba itazam, awa, or upon the slain, ba halal, awa, or upon the dead, ba math, awa, ba kwabar, or upon a grave, wa hazah ha tahar, and he will sprinkle he that is clean upon the unclean, al ha tama'ah, in the day the third, by Yawam ha shalayashaya, right? Wa by Yawam ha shabaya'aya, and in the day the seventh, right? Wa hata'awa by Yawam ha shabaya'aya, and will be unclean, or Salakia, and will be purified from sin in the day the seventh, right? Wa kabas bagad Yahweh, and will wash his garments, right? In water, that is, right? Wa rachatazah, and will wash upon water his body, that is. Ba mayim, wa tahar, and will be clean in the evening. Ba irab. Wa ayash ashar ya tama'ah, in the man which he so it says, in the man which he is unclean, wa ayash ashar yatama'ah, and does not purify himself from sin, Wala'a Yatha Hata'a, and will be cut off. Wa Nakaratha, the soul. Ha Napash, that is. Ha Hawa, from the mist. Mathawak, of the assembly. Ha Quahal. Kaya Atha Makwadash, because to the sanctuary of the Lord Yahweh he has defiled. Tama'ah. So these scriptures prove that your body is your temple, right? So there's certain things you cannot do, right? Which is why you have dietary law, right? There are clean and unclean foods. You have laws concerning, right, the cleansing of the body, right, when one is defiled, right, and etc., right? So it says, Maya Nadak La'azarak, the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him or scattered upon him. Layawa, unclean is he. Tama Hawa. Wa Hayata Laham La Lakwatha, or Salakia La Hakath La Hakwath Salakia, and will be unto them for a statute, Salakia, forever. I walam. Wa Mazah Maya Ha Nada. Let's see. And it says, wash his garments, and who sprinkles the water of separation, right? But really it reads, and of sprinkling the water of separation, right? But that's talking about he who sprinkles the water of separation, right? He would be unclean as well, right? So he has to wash his garments, right? As well, right? But he's not going to follow the same process as the others, right? Wash on the third and seventh day, right? With the water of separation, right? Wamaza Maya Hanada, right? And he who sprinkles the water of separation, Yakabas Bagad Yahweh, he will wash his garments, right? Waha Nagai, and he that touches upon the waters of separation, right? Or Salakia, actually, so it says, and will be unto them a statute forever, right? Of sprinkling, or Salakia, and of sprinkling the water of separation, or and will sprinkle the water of separation, right? Well, no, really, that's talking about the one that did perform the ceremony, right? And he that sprinkles the water of separation, he will wash his garments, right? As in water. Waha Nagai, and he that touches upon the water of separation, Bamaya Hanada, he will be unclean unto the evening. Ya Tama'a Ad Ha'irab, right? So he that handles, right, the ashes, as well as he that sprinkles the water of separation, will be unclean unto the evening. Wakal Ashar Yagai Bawa, and all which they touch upon it, upon the unclean, Ha Tama'a, he will be unclean. Ya Tama'a. Waha Napash, and the soul that touches the unclean. Let me see. All which they touch upon it. Right? So all that are unclean, whatever they touch, that item will be unclean, whether it be a person or vessel, right? Waha napash, and the soul, he that touches the unclean. Waha nagai tha, tatama. And the soul, he that touches. Right? So the unclean person that touches someone, they would be unclean, as well as the individual that touches the individual that is unclean, right? Will be unclean, right? But it doesn't say all that. It just says, and the soul that touches the unclean will be unclean. But it just says, and the soul that touches, right? Meaning he that was unclean will be unclean even till the evening, right? Ta tama'a ad ha-irab. So with that is Numbers chapter 19. Going to the Hebrew. It's Brother Yatazadak, Hero Israel. Lord willing, you are edified, giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwam Yasha Allah, Abad Babal, Shalom.